be green. Like faith's not supposed to be seen. The sky's not supposed to touch the ground. And a square's not supposed to be round. The moon's not supposed to touch the sun. And a two is not supposed to be a one. And the heart's not supposed to wear a ton. And forever's not supposed to be done. Winter's not supposed to come in June. And I am not supposed to have the blues. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, babe, except you and me. There are so many things that I'm not supposed to be. Ooh, babe, yeah, except you and me. Night's not supposed to be long. Yeah. No one is supposed to be alone. Understanding is not supposed to be confused. And the wind is not supposed to lose. Like fire's not supposed to freeze. Like joy is not supposed to grieve. Like you are not supposed to leave. What I said I'm not supposed to mean. He is not supposed to have your heart. Baby, we are not supposed to be apart. There are so many things that are not supposed to be said. You and me. There are so many things that are not supposed to be. Hey, baby. It seems just like no season's changing. This earth with no creation, oh, heart with no feelings, or a sickness without a healing, just like a frozen spring, or bird with no wings, just like a song out of key. That's how my life would be, like the night skies with no stars, lonely road. No holding hands walks in the park. That's how it would be if we were apart. There are so many things, yeah, except love. So many things that are not supposed to be. Like having nowhere to be. Like having nowhere to be. Like having no rain for the sea. There are so many things that's not supposed to be. Not supposed to be. Except you and me. Babe. Yeah, babe. Yeah. Except you and me. Okay, everybody. Hey, y'all. Welcome to my channel. I am your host. Hollywood Next presents Pieces of the Puzzle. Over here, we put together celebrity pieces of their puzzles, one piece at a time, from hot topics to trending topics to what's going on in the news as of right now. So Jennifer actually responded to this post that I'm going to read to you guys. Some of you guys may have heard it already. That's fine. Over here, pieces of the puzzle. We want to do our diligence and bring the information to us supporters over here, so that way we know what's happening. And we formulate our own opinions. Okay, so make sure you guys present your pieces in here. I saw a comment and it says that I meant to say, if Don is found guilty of these charges, the liars will win the bogus lawsuit against Mr. Kelly as well. And then there was something else you said prior to that, which was, if Don is guilty of this, the liars will win. Okay, that's not the one I'm looking for. Okay, it says pieces. I heard the news. They are trying to sue Rob and Don together. So the problem that I have with that is, if they sue Rob and Don together, doesn't it sound like Rob's intellectual property would most likely be what would pay it off? It's not like Don has any type of property. What funds do he really have? So that's just my personal opinion when it comes to that. But definitely want to get into the reading with you guys, and again give you guys my analysis on it. So this is what's been published as of today, December the 1st. So it says, R. Kelly manager try to intimidate, silence, sex abuse accusers, lawsuit claims. Now we know he was never R. Kelly's manager, but we did hear him at times refer to himself as R. Kelly's manager. Some of the pieces that I presented to you guys last night also stated that he says while R. Kelly was his client, he allegedly did these things to the attorney who was representing one of the accusers, who the attorney later on was convicted of some unrelated charges. So here it goes as follows. So R. Kelly's manager is accused of threatening the New House Theater during the premiere of Surviving R. Kelly on December the 4th, 2018. R. Kelly's accusers are suing the disgraced singer and his manager for allegedly trying to intimidate them with tactics that included calling in a shooting threat to a theater premiere, a documentary, and the singer New Court Papers show. Liziette Martinez, Lisa Van Allen, and Faith Rogers, who claimed they were sexually abused by the 54-year-old convict, filed the Manhattan Supreme Court lawsuit against that alleges that Kelly and his inner circle began an orchestrated effort to silence, harass, bribe, and intimidate those brave young women and their friends and family. They claim Kelly's manager Donnell Russell, whom we've been speaking about for the last at least a couple of weeks, if not longer, his connections and things that he has done, him coming out on these public platforms, and sharing prudent information, like he is trying to show off what he has in his pre-recorded filming of all of the masters and intellectual property that we know belongs to Mr. Kelly, but he claims that he was authorized to hold on to these things. So again, this is just, to me, another tactic that the government is going to use as leverage to be able to obtain these things for these alleged so-called victims to somehow get paid. But that's just my own personal opinion, as separate from the facts. Now, they claim Kelly's manager, Donnell Russell, made a series of threats to try to prevent the 2018 premiere of the docuseries Surviving R. Kelly from going forward, the court papers from Monday claim. Defendants used escalating methods of intimidation, moving from legal to terroristic in a matter of hours. The suit claimed nothing that before the call came in, a cease and desist letter was sent by Kelly's people to stop the series from airing. Russell, who is 46 years old, was arrested last year for allegedly making the anonymous threats to the New House Theater on December the 4th, 2018, causing an evacuation and derailing the show's screening. The case is pending trial. The theater threat will leave a lasting emotional mark on the women who were understandably terrified and exposed, the suit claims. So they're going for emotional marks, terrified and being exposed. So that's basically the name of the claim. And so, but why is R. Kelly being accused of this action is because the associations to Don Russell, and Don Russell publicly coming out stating that, he is a manager who was representing R. Kelly at that time. And he even said it in the recording that I played for you guys, like I said, just as early as yesterday. Now, Faith Rogers, who claimed R. Kelly sexually abused her, says the singer attempted to suppress and documentary about him in 2018, and that's the one that we know was done by Shabazz, okay, because he says that he had authorization, he had permission, that they was working together prior to R. Kelly's arrest to even start this. But then when he was asked other questions, y'all can go back and cipher through that stuff yourself. I'm not here to attack, I'm just here to bring out the facts. Russell and two other men, Richard Arline and Michael Williams, were also accused of trying to intimidate and bribe Kelly's victims. Both Arline and Williams pled guilty in the case. So we know that Richard Arline is the one who testified against R. Kelly as one of the alleged John Does. And then you have it to where Michael Williams was just recently sentenced to 8 years for his involvement and his role in blowing up the car of the Clarys. Okay. So, and that these two are affiliated to Don Russell. So, my interpretation and my opinion, it appears to me that these are Don Russell minions. He got them to do work for him on his behalf to benefit them financially, and to one took the stand and the other one, they both pled out, but one took the stand and said he was a alleged accuser. And then you have it to where Michael Williams is coming off and just straight up accepting his fate for pleading guilty. But it's just more to come. This is a lot more to come. Defendants and others knew about Kelly's abuse of women, but didn't do anything to help them, likely to protect the R. Kelly brand name, reputation, image, and continued fame, success, and financial benefit, the suit alleges. Defendants were also aware of and acted in furtherance to engage in acts to intimidate, silence, threaten, and physical and sexually assault women who disclosed Kelly's misconduct, the following charges. The suit claims that Kelly and his companies should have known that Russell was capable of and should have protected the women who were coming forward with their stories of abuse. Instead, Kelly and his companies fostered an environment where criminal misconduct was a normal course of agents' performances, obligations, the court papers claim. Kelly's lawyer, Jennifer Bonjean, told Page Six, this lawsuit in no way connects Mr. Kelly to the alleged intentional acts of Donnell Russell. And I like to agree. I just can't see how they constantly is putting everything that other people is doing off on R. Kelly. It's like he did this, he did that. But then when you listen to the recordings when Don Russell had made his guest appearances on different blogger platforms, he keep constantly saying, I was instructed, we were instructed. So he's saying that he was told to do these things. And of course, he's using Mr. Kelly's name. And so once he gets on the stand, they're going to say, well, who told you to do it? He's going to have to say Mr. Kelly, because that's what he has been putting out here all this time, unless he's going to recant that and take that out, because in all actuality, he will be lying on the stand and perjuring himself by making these accusations that he was instructed to do these things by Mr. Kelly. R. Kelly's manager, R. Kelly's manager, they constantly is calling him his manager. Donnell Russell allegedly protected the singer's brand while he sexually abused women. His accusers are also making this claim. So now they're saying that Don Russell was aware of these alleged acts and that he was protecting R. Kelly while R. Kelly made these acts towards people. Because even if, again, going back to the recorded videos that he has been on platforms and things that he has said out of his mouth, he's made statements that everybody saw the sex tape of R. Kelly pissing on girls. So, when asked, and then also he made statements that he had several tapes of R. Kelly having sex with women. So it's like you have these things in your possession, and if this is what the government is looking for because of his upcoming trial, and you're making claims that you have it, to me, this is some type of extortion, some leverage, and not saying that the tapes are even true, but just the fact that he would make these claims would make it where the government will want to have access to this, so that way it could be a bargain for him, some type of plea bargain for him. I'm just saying, this is just my opinion. This does not reflect the facts of whatever the evidence that they do have in these upcoming trials. Now, these are just allegations, and when the facts are demonstrated, and this is Jennifer speaking, these are just allegations, and when the facts are demonstrated, what the public will learn is that Mr. Kelly had no role in directing harassment or intimidation of any potential witness or individuals. That comes from Bonjean, is what she said. Russell's lawyers did not immediately return a request for comment. So, that's something that has recently come out. Yes, Don DeCon did it. Yes, and so again, um, that's just what's being published out here along with the actual affidavit. So hold on, let me see. This one is. Let's see who's this memorandum. So, well, that is just a short reading of what's been put out here in the article. Now, let me just see. It's so much stuff on this guy, man, and people just wanna constantly give Don the benefit of the doubt, but everything he has done has been criminal and led to more charges, now lawsuits against Robert Kelly, and you know it's just unfair. Don Russell's mother already proved via text that Robert has had, yes, and I believe that's what they're going to be using to prove that he was doing things outside of R. Kelly's knowledge. R. Kelly had no knowledge of what was being said and done. Thanks to Don Russell's mother sending that text message. But one thing is that oh, let me do the moderators. Okay. Let me you know, when you ain't, it's just, hey, let me see. Yeah, I mean, all I can do is read the information that is being public, and and then we just over here we put together pieces of the puzzle one piece at a time. And if it one thing I don't understand is that all the stuff that I have personally said on my particular platform, if it's not facts, why attack? People don't usually attack what's not a fact. Either you have receipts, you have proof, you have something to, back you up, or it's just your word against theirs. And in this case, against R. Kelly, it's a lot of these accusers. It's just because they said it. They didn't present any evidence in court. They didn't show any where they were particularly abused. Like I said, they were using other people's um, case and saying, well, it happened to this person, so it had to happen to this person. And I just totally had disagreed with that. Yes, please, everybody, hit the like button. Over here, we don't ask for much. Just hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the platform, please subscribe to the platform. And thank you guys for your comments. Thank y'all for y'all continued support. It's really appreciated. And it keeps me coming on here even when I'm tired from getting off work. I'm still giving y'all my all. This is like my rest time, but yet I still find the time to there was a motion file, yes. Um, so I give y'all my all. I really do. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, there was a motion filed, and it was because these alleged accusers has filed a motion to sue R. Kelly based on the things that Don Russell did. So they attached Don Russell to R. Kelly, and because they was able to attach him to him, of course they was able to attach Michael Williams as well as Richard Arline based on their uh claiming to know R. Kelly. That is why they was able to file this suit, rather than just having it R. Kelly. They attached Don to R. Kelly and these accusers to him for what Don done to them. And because it's like if you're suing somebody, okay, because I was trying to sue, right? And so they look to see the person that you're suing. So if I'm trying to sue Don Russell don't have no money. Don Russell don't have no assets. So the next thing to sue is who Don is affiliated to and who he was working for at the time that these threats and these harassment was happening, if he's claiming to be working for R. Kelly, then they sue the brand, they sue the company, they sue the man himself. And so that's what they are doing, is suing R. Kelly, because Don don't have no money to pay. So like I said, they go to the next source, and that's so unfortunate. But that's how, and when I say that, even out loud, it even, in my opinion, it leads me to believe that this was another part of the setup, is to go after Don Russell, but knowing he doesn't have the money, sue the brand, which is who Don was working for, which would be R. Kelly, as he's claiming to be his manager. So that's how it falls under that umbrella. And to me, like I said, people still going forth with these lawsuits, still trying to get paid for their involvement and what they participation is and was in the takedown of R. Kelly. So they need to get paid because they secured a conviction, even though it was wrongful. They have secured it. They accomplished the mission, and so now they need to get paid for everything that they did by testifying and going through all this emotional roller coasters and things that they went through, to even get him convicted. So sounds like to me, Don owes money to these people, and this is just my opinion. I'm not gonna say it like it's 100% fact. My opinion is Don owed these people money, and he owed them money prior to them testifying. He owed the money from the very beginning, but because everybody was falling out with each other, a lot of people was jumping ship and going separate ways. They dispersed off into small groups. Some clicked with this one, some clicked over there, so they kind of everywhere. And so, you hear Liziette, you hear the other ladies that they mentioned in this lawsuit. So again, it's just it speaks loud to me personally. Like I said, they was trying to sue our Don Russell, but they can't sue him. But since he running around here talking about he worked for R. Kelly, he his manager, sue him, sue R. Kelly, who got the money. And now he's showing all this intellectual property. He's exposing all this stuff that he got. That's a problem. Okay. Oh, it was something that I was listening to earlier. Oh my. I went over something on my break, right? And it was Steve Greenberg, when R. Kelly was released from jail for the child support issue. Okay, and when he made bail, and then prior to him going to jail, he actually went to jail the day they aired the him and the Gayle King's interview. Do anybody, if you recall, I want you to put a one in the chat if you saw Steve Greenberg at the uh interview that R. Kelly did with Gayle King. If you recall seeing Steve Greenberg at that interview that R. Kelly did with Gayle King, please put a one in the chat. If you do not recall, then just simply put a two. Everybody may not have seen it, and that's okay. But I just want to know, for those who saw it, please, if you saw Steve Greenberg in the back, even though he had the fake crisis manager, Daryl Johnson, there to advocate for Kales, did you see Steve Greenberg in that footage? That's my question to you guys. Put a one in the chat. Okay. I'm glad y'all said that. So now I want to present to you guys some information that I was researching as early on my break today. Here, I'm going to play it for you guys. You all remember, right? He was in there. So some say they don't know, didn't see it. If you saw Steve, I need you to put a 1 if you saw him there. If you didn't see him there, put a 2. But if you saw Steve Greenberg at that Gayle King's uh, interview that R. Kelly had with her in the hotel, and you saw him with your own eyes on TV when they aired it, when R. Kelly was having his moment, and it was, to me, it was the realest, raw, uncut moment you can have. I felt his spirit, I felt his realism, and I felt he was telling the truth. That's how I perceived it. I saw Steve Greenberg, but if you did not personally see him with your eyes, then just put a 2. If you know you saw that man in that kitchen area in the back while R. Kelly was on that interview, put a 1. And with you doing that, I'm about to play something, and I want you to hear how Steve Greenberg lied. For those who saw him, he lied and said he was not there during that time, but I saw him with my own eyes. And here we go. I have not talked to him about that interview with Gayle King. Obviously, he went into custody, I think, the same day that the interview first aired. I wasn't there when he was doing the interview, but I don't think he regrets. You weren't there. And so you heard him say he wasn't there. First aired, I wasn't there when he was doing the interview. There when he was doing the interview. I wasn't there when he was doing the interview. Aired. I wasn't there when he was doing the interview. I wasn't there when he was doing the interview. But I don't think he regrets. And so that was Jerika Duncans who said, "You wasn't there," because even she knows he was there. She works for CBS alongside Gail at times. And so she's like, "You wasn't there," and he brushed around it. So I just want to show y'all how the lawyer, Steve Greenberg, lied blankly when everybody who saw that interview clearly saw he was there in the back. You can see his face clear as day. So that's, I'm just pointing out things that make you go, hmm. So again, him saying that he wasn't there, which we saw him there, okay? But my issue is you allowed your client to be there in that hostile environment, knowing that was not good of you as his attorney to authorize him to even come out and speak at such a critical point in his in these accusations at the time prior to his arrest, and you allowed that to go down, and then you used Daryl Johnson as the scapegoat to take the hit for you allowing your client to do this interview that he should have never done. Even though I and all of us over here believe that, it was good that he spoke out. I mean, he will want to defend himself, but he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. And even at the end of the interview, he was later on arrested, which we now know, literally after that interview. And that was for the child support, back pay on the child support. So, these people, oh, and then as I was listening to R. Kelly even be interviewed by Gail, she said, "So you telling me all these women are lying and they don't know each other?" And so he even said, "Are you sure about that? Like, you sure they don't know each other? Because it's our suspicions, is very suspect." And to me, I've always felt like everybody knows each other, because this is just no coincidence. This is not, a sporadic situation. This is isolated. This is enclosed. This is everybody that know each other, that had a participation with one another at one upon a time, and then they all fell apart, like I said, and they went and dispersed into smaller groups. And so now you getting to where, these people is they it's something to see, I guess. um it's a trip to watch, but when you know what you know, you know what you know. um I it's just a trip, y'all. So let's see, what is this? Let me put this in here. uh, Okay, let me just read some of y'all comments. I have a question. Remember when Bubba alluded to Nicole being in bed with Azriel? I took it as if they are working together. I don't really know. I didn't hear that. Campbell, I agree. He took advantage of his role and played off Kelly's handicaps. Yep, definitely. The only one I saw was the crazy PR person, too. Okay. Yeah. I saw who I saw there, and Steve Greenberg was there. I'm gonna see if I can find that video. Let's see. Google. Let's Google. Because he was there. Mm, okay, let's see if this is it. And if this is it, I'm gonna show you guys that he was there. Let's see. Kelly trusted him and believed in him. Jennifer is going to uncover it. I believe she's already uncovering a lot based on her statement and defending R. Kelly and this alone. And again, this is what Jennifer had to say. She told Page Six, "This lawsuit is in no way connects Mr. Kelly to the alleged intentional acts of Don Russell." So she's already defending him and separating him from these acts that are being accused by Don Russell, and she's separating her client from Don Russell. So that's what I gathered from that. And then she also stated, "These are just allegations, and when the facts are demonstrated, what the public will learn is that Mr. Kelly had no role in directing harassment or intimidation of any potential witness or individual," Bonjean said. And of course, Russell's lawyers did not immediately return a request for comment. So his comment has yet to come out, but we'll continue to monitor the news and see if anything comes out. And if it does, I will present it to you guys at that time. But for now, let's see. I'm still waiting on this to load up. Let's see if I can show y'all that. It just goes to show you that this lawyer is a liar, and that was pretty good that he wasn't on the case, because again, knowing what I know and all the research that has been out here, knowing how these attorneys was associating themselves with these alleged victims, and just doing things that they as an attorney should have known better, um, it jeopardized a lot of R. Kelly's case. Like I was telling you guys last night, if he wanted to file an appeal on ineffective counseling, he would not be able to do that because he chose Nicole over having an opportunity to file an ineffective counsel appeal at a later time, should he want one. And so that was a part of the stipulation that he agreed to by keeping on Nicole, who ultimately done nothing in the end but say that you was going to find her client guilty, and then say, "Oops, I mean not guilty," and then be benched throughout the entire trial, and then only cross-examine, from what I saw, just one of the specialists that the government had brought in as one of the government witnesses. And then she didn't do anything else after that. And then you guys saw she was not there for the verdict hearing and the reading of it. So again, it's just people has showed their hands, and then I believe more is going to come out about these attorneys we've heard me read from the Billboard article. You guys heard, the infights that they were facing and what they were dealing with prior to even going to trial for R. Kelly, and then trying to put their united front on that. Really, it wasn't a clean, clear, united front, because you can clearly see something was odd about the way the attorneys came out at separate times. Okay, so that to me was a flag. I was reading all of that, not knowing what I know now, that they that occurred because they was not getting along. They wasn't seeing eye to eye amongst each other. So let me see. Is this right? I have it now. I'm just combing through it to see if I can pull it up. I thought all of them had be there for the verdict. I mean, she used an excuse to not be there, but yes, Ms. Jennifer Bonjean is a great appellate attorney, and she will definitely get to the bottom of it, and she will do what's in the best interest of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. I definitely agree with you on that, Tawana, all day. Don took that plea just so they could convict R. Kelly. Yes, and now it sounds like he wants to withdraw his plea and go to trial, but you know, it's he's definitely going to trial. Let me go to my study account. Let me put in Bill King interview. Okay, taking forever to load. That's true. Don got so much money. Why he got a public defender? Right. Mm-hmm. Can you share that link, Karen, so I can share it? Because he was there, and for him to sit here and say he wasn't there, I have an issue with that, because again, he's not let me see, Gail King or Kelly. If you could send it to my email, Karen Hollywoodnext at gmail.com. Thank you, Sunshine and Flamingos. Thank you. I appreciate you guys as well. Y'all have no idea. Yeah, it was his idea. I think and only knew for certain Nicole was compromising Robert, keeping her as his attorney could potentially hurt his case. Robert kept her on. Yeah, and I think she was trying to, throw him that much, and and she constantly asked, repeatedly. Matter of fact, let me see if I could pull that article up for you guys as well. When let me go to Google. Nicole Becker. Okay, let's see if this is the one. Another member of R. Kelly's legal team may exit New York case on eve of the trial. A key attorney for indicted singer R. Kelly has abruptly asked to withdraw from the federal case against him in New York, potentially throwing his legal team into further disarray just a week before jury selection is set to begin there. Nicole Blank Becker, who took over the case in June after Kelly said he wanted to part ways with his two Chicago based attorneys, filed her motion to withdraw last week under seal, according to court records and sources who spoke to the Tribune about the matter. Over the weekend, an order from U.S. District Judge Ann Donnelly appeared briefly on the public docket, giving Becker until 5 p.m. Monday to submit a letter privately to the judge supporting her request to withdraw. The submission was to be made ex parte, meaning prosecutors would not get to see it. The reason for her requests are unclear, and it's not known whether the judge will grant it. The motion is expected to be discussed Tuesday at Kelly's final pretrial conferences in district court in Brooklyn. Contacted by phone Monday, Becker declined to comment on the situation. We'll find out tomorrow, she said. The development comes as Becker and her co-attorneys hit back on a request by federal prosecutors to admit new evidence of sexual abuse at trial, saying in a court filing over the weekend they were blindsided and have no time to prepare an adequate defense. The motion asks Donnelly to deny prosecution's attempt to add 15 new alleged victims to the case, which alleges a conspiracy by Kelly to use his music career to serve his own illegal sexual appetite. Given the nearness of trial, the defense is not given ample amount of time to ensure an adequate opportunity to assess the evidence, the purposes for which the evidence is offered, and whether prosecutors had the legal basis for their request, Becker and attorney Thomas Farinello wrote in a 13-page motion late on that Friday. Kelly, 54, is scheduled to go on trial in Brooklyn on August the 9th on racketeering charges alleging he ran a criminal enterprise that recruited women and underage girls for illegal sexual contact that then isolated and threatened them to keep them under control. The allegations in the indictment include dozens of acts involving 6 victims identified only as Jane Doe's 1 through 6, but a 55-page motion filed July 23rd. Prosecutors said they want to bring in additional evidence involving sexual abuse, hush payments, unlawful imprisonment, and other crimes dating back 30 years that are directly relevant to the inextricably intertwined with the evidence of the charged crimes. And see, and that is what the government was able to do successfully that shouldn't have not have been done, and that's what Jennifer is going to combat. I truly believe, in my opinion, this does not reflect what she's going to do. No one knows how she's going to file her motion, but based on the 55-page motion that the prosecutor had filed on July 23rd, saying that they wanted to bring in additional evidence involving sexual abuse, hush payments, unlawful imprisonments, and other crimes dating back 30 years, that they are directly relevant. That's what I feel the motion is, because how are you going to bring back things from 30 years and then you having said that these are alleged involving in sexual abuse and hush payments from people who had never ever filed charges against R. Kelly. So it really came in as hearsay evidence, and because they was willing to come and testify against him, which they did, that's what ultimately got him convicted, and that's why the RICO and the Mann Act should be abolished, because they're using stuff like this hearsay as evidence, because people are willing to come in and testify against the person and say what they feel is true with no corroborating evidence, some type of evidence to say that this did happen. The only thing they had was that yes, he knew this person, or he may have took a picture with this person, or this was a crazy fan like Jahonda Pace who jumped the fence to be in his home, that was she was let in by one of his associates. So she ended up getting paid, and then she ended up using that money to pay the person who got her in. So it became a whole entire network of a game, is what I personally am feeling, just based on reading that. So among the new evidence, prosecutors want the jury to hear Kelly allegedly sex abused a 17-year-old boy he met at a Chicago McDonald's, see, things like that, that really had nothing to do with the case. To make they had their case, they didn't have a case, so they had to create a case, and by them creating the case, they allowed Richard Arline, who claimed to have been the 17-year-old boy who was John Doe number one, who he said he met R. Kelly at a McDonald's. And so they used that. Then they said he secretly arranged to marry a 15-year-old Phenom singer Aaliyah, to shield himself from criminal charges after he allegedly got her pregnant, which came out in court. They never even had sex, and she was never ever pregnant. She never had an abortion. She never had a miscarriage. She never produced a baby because she never had sex with him. So, stuff like that. But these are the things that they used against him. And then to get the conviction. And that's what like I said, Jennifer is going to have a field with combing through all of this evidence, and getting this conviction overturned, because Richard Arline, the John Doe, shouldn't have been in there. Aaliyah shouldn't have been in there. Things that people never filed charges on shouldn't have been in there because the statute of limitation had ran out. So if they would have even put something in, it still wouldn't have mattered because the limitation had run out. So they went around the limitation by charging him with the RICO and the Mann Act, because that don't have limitation. As you can see, it's a 110-year-old charge, and that's what they used against him. So R. Kelly, just continue to hold on, my brother, okay? Because change is coming, help is there, it has arrived, and you and this these everything you've been through is not for nothing. The fight that us supporters have been out here fighting for your rights and for your freedom for the last few years has not gone unnoticed, and we're going to continue on in this support to expose everything that we can expose and help each other have clear understanding of what you going through, what you're going through, and we are here as supporters. So I was listening to one young lady. I stumbled over her video, and she was just giving her analysis on. I'm not going to talk about it, but she was giving her analysis on, some of the things that's happening out here in these YouTube streets. And she had made a lot of valid points, and she said something that resonated when she said, people is saying that R. Kelly had been hungry and didn't have any money, but yet people are out here benefiting off of his story that he has allegedly authorized to be told. Why isn't that being sold to a media outlet for financial benefits, so that way they can put it out and he can reap the benefits of it, so that way he does not have to go hungry, and then all the money that myself and others, I know that letter allegedly is owed, but it's just a principle of what's being said and how they're putting it out here. So I just wanted to say that I stumbled over her video, and I thought she did really, really well with her analysis and her breakdown of that video. So I'll try to put her description in her link in this video description, so that way you guys can go over there and check her out and listen to her for yourself, because she made some really great points. um let's see, where was I at with this? Okay, so he allegedly got her pregnant, and he allegedly talked about bribing a Cook County Circuit Court clerk for information when he was under investigation in 2019. Kelly's lawyer said it's in response that prosecutors blindsided them with the allegations about the sexual abuse of the boy, which that's why I say Jennifer is going to have a feel with filing this motion, because this is a fact. They definitely blindsided him, and to me, oh my God, this is something else that dawned on me, is that when the prosecutor was presenting their case, and even in their closing arguments, when they said something at the end of their closing argument, it stuck to me and it reminded me of Surviving R. Kelly. Their entire case was built off of the Surviving R. Kelly's docuseries. They literally took that docuseries and made it into a federal crime, and that's what Kells was ultimately convicted of, was the Surviving R. Kelly entire docuseries. And so because everything that they presented in the docuseries, and when you hear them say that there were 50 um, 50 accusers and 50 witnesses who actually testified against R. Kelly. That's the exact same amount of number of people who testified against R. Kelly in Surviving R. Kelly. So when I was listening to them talk about Surviving R. Kelly, they said that they had 50 witnesses participate in Surviving R. Kelly. And that's the exact same number of witnesses who testified against him in trial. And then at the end, like I said, the closing arguments, when the prosecutor did the final rebuttal, she said something that they said at the end of Surviving R. Kelly, and that and it was quoted from Jim Derogatis, when he said that, this is a crime that has gotten no traction for over 30 years. When she said that, and when she closed with that, I said, oh my God, they really just replayed Surviving R. Kelly. Sickening, y'all. A docu-series got him convicted. I meant to tell y'all that, but I'm saying it now. Okay, so then it says Kelly lawyers said in response that prosecutors blindsided them with the allegations about the sexual abuse of the boy, which was the first to involve a male victim, and would have let to additional questions about sexual orientation on the questionnaire that went out to potential jurors last month. So the jurors kind of was deceived because the information that they would have wanted to go on the jury questionnaire, they wasn't able to put that on there. And I saw how the judge would not change the language in the jury instructions either at the end to keep it fitting the narrative of Surviving R. Kelly. So when you listen to the jury instructions, it was no way, there was no option on the jury instructions to even find him innocent, because everything that the jury instruction had in terms of their options was leading only to a guilty verdict. And that's what I believe Jennifer also will be able to unravel as well. So the new allegations also contended the first boy, identified as John Doe number one, introduced Kelly to a second teenage boy identified as John Doe number two, with whom Kelly also allegedly had an improper sexual relationship. The topic of sexual orientation has become a controversial as politics, Kelly's attorneys wrote. This topic would have been ripped from for questioning in the jury questionnaire. There is no question that the only purpose for which government seeks to introduce evidence from the John Does is purely salacious and sensational reasons. The motion also stated there was absolutely no physical proof nor circumstantial proof that the new allegations involving Aaliyah, identified in the indictment as Jane Doe number one, are true. And even if there was such evidence, she can't be questioned about it since she died in a plane crash nearly 20 years ago. And that is very true. So if you're going to bring in an alleged victim, they have to be living. So the fact that they use a deceased victim and then these two John Does who should have never ever been in this trial either, and then a host of other evidence that they was able to get in, I feel, again, this is what Jennifer is going to she's going to unveil all of this information that I'm saying. And I just feel like this is what's going to get the conviction overturned. Therefore, the additional information the government seeks to introduce regarding Aaliyah is nothing more than conjectured and an effort to further shape their narrative, the motion stated. But my question is, okay, we know that this is what they were doing. They're telling you we know what they're doing because they're putting it out here. So it's not a secret that they are aware that the government has put everything in place to shape their narrative to fit their emotion. So, but what did the attorney before Cannon came on board, what did they do to prevent any of this? And so I believe where the disconnect comes from is because the fact that Greenberg took off shy of this information coming out. He was already off the case. And so it was just something that unfortunately they let get in there that should have been contested. Kelly's attorneys also objected to prosecutors failing to identify the alleged new victims by name, which they say puts them at a disadvantage when it comes to adequately preparing cross-examination of witnesses. Donnelly is expected to rule on whether the new evidence can come in the trial after Tuesday. Pretrial conferences, opening statements are scheduled as we know the past of August 18th. The trial is expected to last at least a month. Kelly, who is being held at a federal jail, Brooklyn, also faces charges in the U.S. District Court in Chicago related to alleged sex abuse of minors, as well as a separate indictment brought in the county. So I think because this has already taken its cause and effect, that what we should be focusing on moving forward, while others, do what they do, but we over here at Pieces of the Puzzle, we stay focused on presenting these pieces one piece at a time. I think it's time that we start revisiting the Chicago upcoming cases that he's facing, for the evidence, well, the information and all of what we can gather that's already out here. And let's start looking into the U.S. district courts in Chicago's related alleged sex abuse of minors, as well as the separate indictment brought in Cook County. I believe that's where the next focus should be, because it's enough that this case has already went to court, has been, tried. There's been a conviction, and we know that Jennifer is going to do her diligence and to filing the proper motion to have the judge reconsider the conviction and potentially overturn it, and he can be found not guilty on it based on the way that they went about getting everything him convicted. So that's my suggestion. I'm sure others is going to listen to this commentary and they're going to piggyback, and that's fine, because then it takes away from all the negative stuff, and we could just, I personally can focus on presenting things that's more beneficial to us supporters, which is knowing what's up the road ahead, and to just revisit it, because um we'll be able to um, filter out, this information. And I think that's where our heads need to be, is focusing on the newest stuff. Yep. Okay, let me just make sure there's no comments that need to go. I'm sorry. I'm trying to give y'all wrenches by the day, because things are happening, and I just have to make sure I'm monitoring the channel. And so I'm just not sure, who's doing it, but I'm definitely am monitoring the platform for us, so that we can continue to go in the right direction. And we are definitely going in the right direction. So again, shout out to each and every one of you guys. I highly appreciate you all. Um, Let me just see some comments. Let's get ahead of the dirty games that they play. Been playing because the state case was weak. That's why the government went first. Follow the narrative. Exactly. You're so right, Coretta. So very right. I believe Greenberg, Daryl, Nicole, Savage parents as real, and Don Hustle were all. I would like to agree on that as well. And make sure you guys go check out Big Vibe, because the brother is over there and he is putting out his own pieces and his opinion, and his opinion matters. And if you guys are independent, free thinkers, you think for yourself, you speak for yourself, you come up with your own conclusion. You're not a follower. I got a chance to listen to a few minutes of his commentary today, and it was so powerful. I mean, I like people who think for themselves, speak for themselves. I like to be corrected when I'm wrong. I like to be, don't be a yes person to me, but be somebody like myself. Y'all see how straightforward I am, how I come out here and I just, I call it like I see it. I'm not gonna back down from nothing, because I bow down to no man but God. And so I just feel like you know we over here are free thinkers. We all are independent. We're all individuals who really think for ourselves, which is very, very important. And so because of that, we're able to be like-minded. We can come together over here, because it's not so much that we agree, but we just recognize real, and real recognize real. So I just want to say that. Peace Within says, I think Jennifer Motion will be a game changer. I agree. I believe Jennifer is going to do some amazing things, and And we're just going to continue to pray for the lawyers, pray their strength, that they continue to focus on the focus, and that God protects them and cover them, so that way the outsiders can't get to them and taint them like the other past attorneys has been tainted. So we just gonna continue to pray for their strength in the Lord. Thank you so much, Karen. I just watched a clip of Gayle King interview, and I seen Greenberg ass peeking around the corner. Yeah, it's out there. It's definitely out there. And that's why I asked y'all that, because I wanted to share when I heard this, and I guess I didn't catch it back then, but it's always good to comb through stuff over and over, because it's like watching a movie for the second and the third time. You always catch something that you didn't catch the first time. Like, oh my God, I didn't see that. Oh my. So that's what it was for me. When I heard that, I said, wow, I didn't know that he said he was not there at that interview, when clearly he was there at the interview, because I saw him at the interview peeking around the corner. And it was like, to me, that was a setup, and he exposed himself by denying that he was there. So that's why I say, when people put accusations out on you, and then they say this about you, and then you can come with your receipts that what they're saying is not true. Now, if Greenberg put out an accusation that he wasn't there, but I could present to you guys a video showing you he was there, then that discredits him. And when you're discredited, you can't be trustworthy, because you lie about something as simple as that. What else you lying about? So we got to be very careful and very mindful of the people, of things that we hear. It doesn't hurt to question folks. If you're afraid to question a person, then you may be watching the wrong person. If anybody is not here for the sole purpose of the support and the vindication in the support system for Robert Sylvester Kelly, then you guys are not here for the right reasons. Because even though some of us may not get along, and we don't associate ourselves to each other, the bickering and things like that it speaks volume that one or both, or one or the other, is not for the same cause, and is causing too much commotion. That's, to me, is just taken away from what we're here for. My sole purpose is the vindication of Robert Sylvester Kelly. And it doesn't matter who knows him, who don't know him, or who's been here longer, who just came. What matters is that we get the proper message out. But trying to uh, tear one down and turn one against the other, and going into chats, those are following mentalities. And that's something that Big Vi was his opinion was about earlier, is not being a follower. Are you a leader, or are you guys followers? I would like to piggyback off of that and ask y'all myself, are y'all leaders in the chat? If y'all a leader, put an L. If you a follower, put an F. Because you can't be both. Either you one or you're the other. So if you're a leader, you can spell it out, leader, or you can just put an L for leader. Or if you're a follower, you could put follower, or you could put an F for follow. I mean, you can't be both. And if you are a person who has their own brain and their own mouth, then I would say also put the brain and the mouthpiece in the chat, because then that symbolizes thinking for yourself and speaking for yourself. Because if you can't put a brain in the mouthpiece, then that means somebody else is thinking and speaking for you. And I think that you guys need to be able to think and speak for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, they don't. And I'm definitely real. And this is right here. This is being having your own brain and your own mouthpiece. That's why Hollywood Next had the brain and the mouthpiece, because I think for myself and I speak for myself. And then here are pieces of the puzzle. I put brain, mouthpiece, and puzzle, because not only am I thinking for myself and speaking for myself, but I'm also presenting pieces of the puzzle, one piece at a time. And that's my time. I thank each and every one of you guys for being leaders and not followers, also being thinkers for yourself and speaking for yourself. That's what's going to help this fight move forward in the right direction. So we're going to disassociate ourselves moving forward as free thinkers, those who can think for themselves, speak for themselves, and can lead without following. I never want to change my IN for CO. And when I say IN, that means I am independent. If you CO, that means you codependent. So I'm never going to be codependent, because I'm too busy being independent. Free R. Kelly is what I'm yelling. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I will come back to you guys. I still have not gotten a chance to get any type of confirmation on the authenticity of things that I said I would bring to you guys. So right now, it is what it is. And then I also want to go on record and just say I don't have any associations to Keith. For anybody that's trying to pry that information out of me, I don't have any associations to him. I only saw him at the court along with all the other supporters that were there and some of the brotherhoods that was there as well. I think they're stand-up people. I think Keith is solid in my opinion, just from the outside looking in. And I also see how they all got together and conjured up after every break that they can get, and and associated with themselves, and they stay to themselves. And so that just speaks volume. It's not too many people real out here, but I definitely just want to say to those that are real, continue to keep it real. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And this is my song. You can't trust everybody, because I don't know who to trust. Too many people in my life has already switched up. So I don't trust these bitches and I don't trust these youngers. That's my time. Pieces. Free R. Kelly, free Amal, free Larry Hoover, free Kels, baby. Everybody switching up. I can't trust these niggas. No, I can't trust these hoes. Niggas be shooting, but they quick to tell. So I'ma just stick to myself. Cause I can't trust these niggas. No, I can't trust these hoes. Don't trust no nigga, not even the one you rockin' with. Cause they'll switch up a stitch on you when you least suspect it. If you live in these streets, you gotta keep protection. All up on my money, I've been grinding while you niggas rest. I left him like a brother, and T showed me his true color. Said he rockin' with us, but fucking with the suckers on the under. Lesson learned, be mistaken, I will make another. Been fucking up, my family want me to do better. Trust is what's keeping it. Oh no, somebody hating y'all. Together. I'm not a bad person, I just grew up with no guidance. And through the years, I learned the hand I feed you, don't bite it. My brother always told me, peep the ones who keep around you. When you broke, they ain't here. When you got it, that's when they around you. Fuck the niggas, you don't need them. Rock by yourself, shoot by yourself. Make music, come up by yourself. I get it on my own, I really don't need the help. I'm thugging on my own, cause I can't tell on my fucking self. How you seem to be the first to start snitching niggas, bitches, and they hard, but they really ain't with it. Just be talking out his neck for the fan bitches. Put on the show for what a nigga really been that serious. How you claim what you don't got? I'm just being curious. Stay on your 10 cause this beat shit is getting serious. I don't know who to trust. Everybody switching up. Fuck em. I can't trust these niggas. Fuck. I can't trust these hoes. Fuck em. Niggas be shooting, but you couldn't tell. So I'ma just stick to myself. Cause I can't trust these niggas. Fuck. I can't trust these hoes. Fuck em. I don't got no trust for nothing. Uh-oh. For none of you niggas. Free kills. Everybody switching up, everybody switching up. I ain't worried about a thing. Keep doing my thing and flex on you. I don't know who to trust. Everybody switching up, but I ain't worried about a thing. Keep doing my thing and flex on you. I don't know who to trust. Everybody switching up, everybody switching up. I can't trust these niggas. No, and I can't trust these hoes. Niggas be shooting, but be quick to tell. So I'ma just stick to myself. Fuck em. I can't trust these niggas. Fuck em. I can't trust these hoes. RB lies, my nigga. RB lies, my nigga. Damn. Lies, my nigga. Pieces.